So the Niners have obviously the best collection of weapons in the league. And I know, despite the fact that this Super Bowl media week might as well have been renamed the Brock Purdy coronation week, I know, and you know, and Kyle Shanahan knows, and most notably Niner fans know, what they want in this game is 30 Christian McCaffrey touches. They can say they can pretend all they want about Brock Purdy, about how much they believe in him, about how little faith people have in him. Niner fans want the ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands. There's no way around it. The hope for the Chiefs defense is that the Niners psych themselves out like the Ravens did. The Ravens saw Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the field, saw Mahomes move the ball up and down the field, saw the Chiefs daring them to pass, and they couldn't help themselves. The Chiefs forced some of that, and that was also no matter what the media says about the Chiefs offense and Mahomes in the same, no matter what that is, other teams play the Chiefs like they're terrified. Josh Allen's throwing laterals on the 3rd and 17. The Ravens are abandoning the run. They play the Chiefs like we have a superhero on the other side of the field that we're going to need to match points with. So if the Niners stay committed to the run, that can cause some real problems. But if the Niners make this a drop-back passing game, Chris Jones is going to ruin their lives. So Trent Williams is one of the greatest left tackles ever. Charles Omenihu, the Chiefs' big free agent acquisition, would be rushing up against Trent Williams. Charles Omenihu unfortunately blew out his ACL. So it's going to be Mike Dana. It might be Felix, their first-round draft pick, who's been a healthy scratch for a couple months. Here's the thing on that. Or for a month, I should say, for Felix. Trent is going to erase anybody on that left-hand side. The Chiefs are going to line up George Karlaftis, their last year's first-round pick, who had the quietest double-digit sack year of anyone in football, on the left defensive end position, and they're going to line up Derek Thomas, R.I.P. Derek Thomas, one of the greatest Chiefs ever. Chris Jones right next to him on the left D tackle position, and they are going to cave in the right side of the Niners offensive line. And if you've been watching these playoffs, you know what you've seen a disproportionate amount of in the playoffs and throughout the season with the Niners offense? Tipped balls at the line of scrimmage. Brock Purdy has balls batted down. Brock Purdy is susceptible to batted passes because he's little. And the Chiefs are as good at that as any team in the league. And so I trust the Chiefs secondary more than any secondary in football. The Chiefs every linebacking core gets tortured against Shanahan. You're going to have to deal with some of that. With Debo running shallow crossers, and you just got to get him on the ground. But I would be putting L'Jarius Sneed on Brandon Ayuk and erase Brandon Ayuk, and then say George Kittle, who, as great of a player as George Kittle is, you know what he doesn't have on his resume? Big postseason moments. So George Kittle has the one massive play. What game was it in? I'm trying to remember. It might have been the Cowboys game 2 years ago. Go ahead, Demonte.
If it were 2 years ago, I don't know if it was the Cowboys. I was talking about last year. Last year's playoffs.
Last year. That's what I meant. Last year in the playoffs, it might have been the Cowboys game when Kittle had a massive game. But George Kittle, in his postseason career, has played 11 games. He's 44 yards per game. He's 3 catches per game. He has 2 total touchdowns. If George Kittle beats you, he beats you. He's a very good player, but you've got to you can't sell out to stop McCaffrey. Put your best corner on Ayuk and then give him nothing. That's why the Niners are so dangerous, because they have all these weapons. But I think the Chiefs can create massive pressure. I also think the first Super Bowl element of this for Brock is a real thing. I think the fact here is an underrated, it seems fake, but I promise you it's not, story of this game. In these playoffs, Brock has started slow and then found a rhythm. The Super Bowl, because halftime is so long, is almost like 2 30-minute games. There is no rhythm you can find that maintains after a 25-minute Usher concert. It just doesn't exist. And so it's one of the reasons Mahomes has been able to overcome spotty first halves in his 2 Super Bowl victories. And so because then it's like a new, fresh game, and you can get out and you can maybe script another opening 15 if that's what the coaches have done during the week. So I think the Chiefs defense, which is, here's the other element. The 3 best defenses in the NFL this year were, in no order, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Brock Purdy played the Browns earlier this year. He completed 44% of his passes, threw for 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, a 55 rating. Brock Purdy played the Ravens, a month and a half ago. He threw 4 interceptions. Against these dominant defenses, he has struggled. And so I think there are real advantages for the Chiefs. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.